What's going on YouTube? My name is Rhett, here with Tier 1 Gaming, reporting that I placed second at a Nintendo Switch tournament playing ABC Brave Therion, and here's how it went. Starting off the deck profile, I played 2 copies of A Assault Core, 2 copies of B Buster Drake, and then 2 copies of C Crush Wyvern, with the 1 brick Union Driver. They all performed well, and I needed every single one of them to play the game. Next, we had the Therion engine, which consisted of 2 Therion King Reguluses. I wanted to play 3, but he was just too bricky, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. Up next, we have the Brave package, which is 2 Water Enchantresses and 1 Wandering Griffin Rider. I kept bricking on Brave, so I cut it down as much as I reasonably could. Up next, the Hand Trap, so is 3 Psyframe Gear Gammas, 1 driver, and then 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I chose these hand traps because they had the best matchup against the meta, because Gamma the normal summon of a punk, or Ash the braided fusion, and that's the game. Next, we had 3 copies of Union Hanger and 1 copy of Unauthorized Reactivation. Anyone who plays this deck knows that this is what makes it work, and without it, the deck just doesn't go off. I feel like all my ratios of these powerful cards paid off pretty well, but continuing with power cards, 1 Fateful Adventure, 1 Dracoback, and 3 Rites of Arameseers. I feel like this ratio is really good, and they performed overly well. And speaking of powerful cards, 2 Therion Disc Coliseum, one of the most busted field spells that searches Regulus and also gives you battle protection. Up next for powerful one-ofs, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Set Rotation, and 1 Terraforming. I need to see that field spell or I just don't win the game. 3 Pot of Prosperities, make my 40 card deck a 37 card deck, and 3 Forbidden Droplets, because I cannot lose to Scythe. That was the main deck, 40 cards in total, and it performed really well. 3 copies of Evenly Matched, 3 copies of Lightning Storms, and then 3 Dark Ruler No Mores for those powerful board breakers when I know I'm going second. And for some spice going first, I played 3 copies of Mistaken Arrest. I don't need to search to OTK after I get my first search. Then 3 Dimensional Barriers because I don't want to lose to a Synchro and or Fusion based deck. Following up with the extra deck, it was a bunch of Link 2s with Platinum Gadget, Brocade Board Blocker, and IP Masquerena with Line of the Light Charmer, and Bukin Akamishi, or however you say that. I only ever summoned each of these once, but each time I summoned them, they won me the game. Speaking of powerful cards that win me the games, Nightmare Unicorn, Appaloosa, Access Code, and Underworld Goddess. No more need be said. 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster, the boss monster of the deck, and really what pushes this over the edge. Then a copy of Babuska, a copy of Kagaga Cowboy, and a copy of Dugaris the Timeless. Each of these monsters performed really well, even though I only made each of these guys once or twice. They all performed overly well to burn for game, draw cards, and stop my opponent. Alright everyone, I just wanted to do a quick test hand video to show you a realistic expectation for what this deck can do going first, relatively uninterrupted. So I present to my opponent for a cut. After the cut, I draw a test hand of 5 cards. Forbidden Droplets, Sea Crush Wyvern, Fateful Adventure, Sea Crush Wyvern, and a Set Rotation, meaning I can full combo. Starting off the combo with Set Rotation, to set 2 field spells, 1 to my field zone, 1 to my opponent's field zone, I give myself a copy of Union Hanger, and my opponent the Therion Disc Coliseum. After all that, I decide to activate Faithful Adventure. Then I activate the effect of Union Hanger to search for a copy of A Assault Core and add it from deck to hand. After adding A Assault Core, I decide to normal summon Sea Crush Wyvern, Chainlink 1 the field spell, Chainlink 2 Faithful to search for an equip spell. That way I play around Ghost Ogre, I add the equip spell Dracoback, and then I equip a copy of Union Driver to my Sea Crush Wyvern. The reason I do it this way is to play around the restriction Union Hanger gives to the equipped monster off its effect. By banishing Union Driver, I can equip a different copy of a Union monster from my deck to that monster, and I can special summon the equipped monster. I then special summon out Be Buster Drake from the Spell and Trap Zone, and then use the effect of Fateful Adventure to search for a monster, then discard a card. I search for Water Enchantress, then discard Water Enchantress, to then use Water Enchantress's effect to search for Rite of Aramasir. Activating right here has a lot of advantage for me because I get to create a level 4 token and also equip Dracoback to that card. Using Dracoback's effect, I can bounce Therion Disc Coliseum to my hand and then activate Therion Disc Coliseum. Once Therion Disc Coliseum is activated, it then searches Therion King Regulus, which just does so much for the deck. It's a protection and an extender all in one good card, but I decide not to shotgun it here and just keep playing. Linking 2 into IP Masquerena, I decide to Chainlink 1 Sea Crush Wyvern, Chainlink 2 Be Buster Drake. The beauty of doing it this way is that B resolves first, adds one union monster from deck to hand, and then C resolves to special summon, and you can special summon the same monster from hand. This doesn't matter too much with this hand, but with other hands where you just have a piece you don't want to summon to make ABC Dragon Buster, it can special summon that piece you add to hand instead of the piece you already have in hand. Now I'm going to link 2 into the Buchin Akamishi, or however you say that. Please correct me in the comments. And then I'm going to declare the effect of Buchin, Chainlink 1, and Sea Crush Wyvern, Chainlink 2. That way, Sea Crush Wyvern will add a card from graveyard to hand, and then I can special summon 2 cards, one from hand, one from graveyard, and then immediately Xyz summon. So I add back C, and then I immediately use the same C I added Xyz summoning into Dugarius the Timeless. I now can use Dugarius' effect to draw 2 cards by detaching both materials. That way ABC Dragon is still in rotation. I really like this play because it keeps me with the same amount of materials for ABC Dragon Buster and Graveyard, but it also draws 2 cards and hand fixes a little bit by getting something in Graveyard that I may not want in hand. The draw 2 was spectacular, drawing a Pot of Prosperity and an Ash Blossom. A great follow-up considering I skipped my next draw phase. And an interruption for my opponent. I discard a copy of A Assault Core because I know I have Regulus in hand. Now I can use Regulus effect targeting A Assault Core to equip it to him, special summon himself, and now he's unaffected by monster effects, which comes up way more than you would think. Now I can learn the alphabet using A, B, and C to make the ABC Dragon Buster. Looking at this inboard, I now have 1 non-target banish, a Omni Negate, a Link Summon into any monster I would like, an Ash Blossom, and the best follow-up for my deck being a Pot of Prosperity, digging 3 down into my deck. That concludes the combo proportion of this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, and sharing with your friends, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.